What's up, geniuses? Welcome back to For the Record. I'm your host, Markman. Now, y'all know me. I'm a Brooklyn boy, all right? Take a little bit of getting used to. Genius HQ is in Brooklyn. So when you talk about Brooklyn, you talk about Brooklyn legends, it's a real short list, and we got one of the legends of Brooklyn right here today. Very special episode. She just fresh off of a BET Award, honorary. Her new album, 9, is out today, and she's here on For the Record. Lil Kim, welcome to Genius. Welcome to For the Record.
Brooklyn.
Can we get a once? Brooklyn, we did it.
Brooklyn, we did it. Brooklyn, we did it.
I felt like I swear I was watching you on BET. First of all, congratulations on your m.a.f.i.a Award.
Thank you.
And I saw you on that stage, and it just reminded me of what it meant to see B.I. on that stage of the Source Awards, and the first thing he said was, Brooklyn, we did it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that, though. Like the hip-hop award at BET, we just seen you win that. And you know, that's and your speech kind of pointed to that. It's not a regular award. It's not an everyday, it's not an album. This is legacy. This is career.
Yeah.
This is cemented.
Yeah.
How did it feel to be up there and accept that?
It feels wonderful. It felt wonderful because, you know, I waited my whole life to get a BET award. And you know, I got a lot of awards. You know what I'm saying? I'm blessed. I ain't have a BET award.
Right.
I was like that. I just couldn't understand that. But then as time went on, life began to explain it to me.
Right.
And you know, the streets crowned me Queen Bee. And so the streets had to give me that award. And they had to give it to me in a major way. And I had to wait for it because, you know, it was supposed to be that big. And then I also feel like Junior Mafia was supposed to be a part of that moment as well.
Right.
So
I want to get to that too. I want
know,
to focus on the you. I want to focus on the you, but we're gonna get to that. But you know, the thing about that award too, that I have a question for you, because it's always interesting because as an artist, you're in it, right? You're creating. A lot of times you're doing all the work, and sometimes it may not hit you how big that you are to the fans and to the world because you got your head down and you working and you getting these verses right and these performances and the videos look amazing. I want to know for you, the moment that you realized all the work that you were putting in wasn't just like that you weren't going to be this rapper who just kind of came and went, that your legacy was going to be forever. Like what made you realize that at what point in your career?
You know, it's funny because I don't think I ever really had that moment.
No.
I never really had that moment. I mean, there's moments where I'm like, dang, I'm at the garden. Like I must be large out here. You know, I must be big. This is major. I'm pretty epic, but I don't think I ever had that moment where I'm like, I'm on top. I made it, because there's so much that I feel like I haven't gotten to do.
Right. Like what?
You know
like what's on your list? What's the top at your bucket list?
Well, if I saw my name in like if I get a star in Hollywood or something like that,
okay,
that's like major to me, you know.
We speaking that to existence now. That like I can see that you saying it. I can see it now.
That's awesome. I mean,
right.
Thanks for seeing it. I don't know, but you know, honestly too, this BET award, this I Am Hip Hop Icon Award is making me see it a little. I still don't feel like, you know, it's just like, dang, I got one. But it's like, I don't know if I feel like super icon, you know. I mean, it's making me realize it now, the BET Award, because people were like, Dad, Kim's an icon. She's an icon, you know. So it's the love is what I'm receiving.
But certainly you recognize it, right? When you see artists like Get Money, right? Famous Lil Kim Junior Mafia record, you know, when like Cardi B is kind of remixing some of those lyrics for like What's Poppin' or something like that on her come up. Or even Remy, you and Remy collaborated on Wake Me Up, which is like Queen Bitch, like a new version of that, right?
Yes.
And I just don't want to limit it to the ladies, because I remember when Big Pun dropped his debut album and started off a verse. You want to rumble with the pun, huh?
I know. shit on the whole family. I remember.
So clearly, you see that
I
that
love
that you're
Pun.
influencing
Oh my
artists
God.
in this way. That fact can't be lost on you, right?
No, that's amazing. But Pump was a huge fan. I didn't know this until somebody like told me, and then I met him, and then I actually started listening to his music, and he quotes a lot of my lyrics, not just that one. And I was like, Pun? I mean, Pun was like a legend. He's one of the best to ever do it, you know? So it's like,
Absolutely.
tag. You know, it's
So is
amazing.
Kim.
Thank you.
I'm just saying, like, right? That's the
Thank
whole
you.
point. You know, I just want to illustrate that, and I always love throughout your whole career. I mean, obviously it's rap, man. So when you get in that studio, you talk your shit,
I
and that's
talk
what
my
it
shit.
is, and you do.
I gotta talk my shit.
But
Even on this album, I talk my shit. I
Oh,
gotta talk my shit.
we heard Auto Blanco.
Ah,
You know what I'm saying? We heard the records.
And I was mad when I did that. I guess that's when I made kind of like my hardest joints.
That was like that felt like hard because it was just kind of slow flow, like just getting into it.
Yeah.
I'm skipping ahead, but we taking this conversation wherever it
know.
goes today.
Yeah.
All the rules is done. Auto Blanco,
Yes.
you was mad. What had you upset? Because you was really getting your shit
It
off.
was a lot going on. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's always people talking shit. You know what I'm saying? There was a couple things that was going on, major wise, and then, you know, I was just frustrated at that moment. I just had to talk my shit and get it out. That happened too on like when I did the Benjamins. I was kind of like in a frustrated mode, and I just had to talk my shit.
What was going? Because from us at that point, it just seemed like top of the world. I mean, obviously, did you lay your Benjamin's verse? Because I know it came it dropped after Big died, but there could have been a world where it was made before. We don't know.
Because you know that record was originally just the Locks and
Right.
Puffy, and so I was in love with that record so much. But Puffy already knew he was putting me on it. I was just praying like, I hope he put me on this record. But he already knew he was putting me on it, and so I did my verse. Big was in L.A. Like,
So,
Big
but
did
so
his-
when you laid it, Big was alive, like
yeah,
that
he
record
was
was
alive.
made.
He
Okay,
was in L.A. because remember he did his verse.
right. But you see what I'm saying? It's like when we heard it, when the public heard it,
Yeah.
Big had already unfortunately left us.
Yeah.
So we didn't know if that was like, and then the
yeah.
beat switched. That I didn't know the situation, but the plan was for you to be on it. Big was alive.
Right.
So this whole
I
thing was
think
happening.
if I had to speak for Puffy, I don't know. Maybe he could clear it up one day. But if I had to speak for him, I think that's where the beat switching up came from. Because he originally was on there. I know Puffy could have had that idea already. Because
Right.
that's just how he is when it comes to music. But that was to highlight our fallen angel.
Right.
Like but yeah, it was funny because I did that verse, and Big was in LA, and he was like, "Yo, honey, killed that. She did a thing." Him and Puff was like, "Yeah, she got the best verse," and I was like, "Well, they was just like really going in because I'm a big Locks fan, so in my mind, I'm like, I'm about to be on a record with the Locks, and this is not like a regular."
This wasn't If You Think I'm Jiggy. This was
Nah,
this was
this
one of
is-
them DJ Clue first song.
and they was hard on there.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh man, I gotta hang out with my brothers.
Right.
So that's basically where my mind frame was like, I can't come on this track and bullshit. Like I'm coming on here to, and my brothers are so supportive of me.
I had heard a story because I want to get to the new album too. We're gonna bounce all around, but I had heard Sheik tell a story. They had actually told me in an interview that Missy helped like vocally arrange that record. Was Missy involved at the point? They said when they laid their verses that Missy was in there and they were rapping it, and that's how Styles then ended up on the record. Styles is one of the illest.
Oh, that had to be before I got on it. I
Okay.
never heard that
Yeah,
story.
yeah. It's definitely like I double checked it too because I was gonna ask you about that, but I was like, man, let me double check to make sure I ain't got the story right. But Sheik has said that Missy was kind of like, so she didn't produce on the record per se, but that her just being in the studio, figuring out who goes in what
First,
order,
like, she
like.
I could see her doing
Right.
that though. That's crazy. That had to be before I got on the
That's magic.
track because I don't even remember that, but I could believe that. I could see it.
So Auto Blanco or for the new album 9 is you're equating it to kind of the same energy, the same way you were feeling when you did Benjamins, like those same type of feelings or that same energy led to
Yeah,
that.
like I was frustrated. Like the Benjamins, I just loved that song and that track, but we was on a climb, so it was a lot of hate, but it was also a lot of love. So I was like, yeah, I'm about to let them know how I really give it up.
Right.
And D Dot was,
Right.
he produced that with Puff, and he was there. He saw me write my whole verse. You know what I mean? And it was just, I'm like, yo, okay. Big wasn't around. Big was in LA. So, I mean, you could talk to D Dot too. He'll tell you. But it's just, I had something to prove
That's
on
dope.
that track. That's how I felt.
That's dope. We're gonna get back to some of that. Nine though is the name of the new album.
9 is the name of the new album.
What's the significance of the number 9 for you?
So I'm a very spiritual person. And, before I had my baby, I was going through transformation. Then after I had my baby, I was in kind of a dark place. It was a very weird space for me. I was trying to figure things out. And I'm a very spiritual person. So, God just started showing me stuff. And he started showing me when my time was, because I couldn't figure out when the next level of my time was. That's what a lot of artists got to start to try to figure, instead of, because everything is levels. It's levels. I can't really do what I did 10 years ago.
Right.
You can't do that. You just can't. But for me, and then for me, the type of artist I am, I can't do that. But he started showing me the levels I got to go to and, different things. And so, the number 7 is my favorite number. But God spoke to me in a voice like, yeah, number 7 is your favorite number, but number 9 is your favored number. And so that was going to be my favorite number, meaning that's my timing. Because timing is everything in this industry. And I couldn't figure out my timing. I couldn't for the life of me figure out my timing. And that's when you miss your windows, when you don't know your timing, or when you can't, get in the groove of your timing. So, my daughter was born on June 9th.
Okay.
And Big E passed away on March 9th.
March 9th.
It was 9 members in Junior Mafia. And I was born in July 11, 7 plus 2, that's 9. And then it's 2019. I said, oh shit, it's my time. It's my timing. I couldn't figure it out, but I figured it out then. And it was go time.
That's dope.
And I named my album.
How long were you working on it? Because I know, first of all, the Beehive, they on you.
I know.
And they stayed on you. And today's a day of celebration.
Yeah, I
because the
gotta
album's
thank
here.
them. Thank them.
But you've been working on it for, like, I even remember seeing, like, interviews with you maybe a year ago talking about Catch My Wave.
Yeah.
And how excited you were about that record.
Yeah.
So this wasn't, like, you've been working on this for a while. You've been, like, slow cooking this.
I was working on this for a while, but I think, being that I had a new situation at E1, shout out to them because they believed in me from the gate and they already knew. I don't think they knew what to expect until I got into the studio and started working. They're like, okay, this is different. And so I started working on it probably like 4 years ago. Like that's when we started working. But I think for me, it was a warm up. I'm warming up. It was warming up, trying different things, doing different styles. Because that was always been me on my albums. You know what I mean? Naked Truth, as hard as it was, it also had a song on there called Kitty Box. That like every sexy girl loved and all my LGBT fans love. So that's how diverse I am. And then even on Naked Truth, not Naked Truth, I'm sorry. And even on Notorious K.I.M., even though I got like, different kind of records on there, there was always that puppy record or whatever. Same thing with Bella Mafia. So this album, I had to try to figure out things. And then we got into this year, and I just knew, I was like, it's go time now. Like, I felt like I was ready. A lot of stuff, I was doing like a lot of different flows, just finding something new.
One of the things that struck me right away about this album was the first track, Pray For Me, which I felt, and I didn't want, at Genius here, we break down lyrics, we do interpretations, but then when you have the artist here, you go straight to the source
Yeah.
for it. And I really wanted to know, like, I picked out these 4 bars, right? And I think it kind of sums up what the record is beautifully. As people start to hear this for the first time, right? It's like, I ain't worried about a bitch taking you from me. I'm more worried about the streets taking you from me. More worried about police taking you from me. So before you leave the house, kiss me.
And tell me that you love me.
It sounds very personal, but it also sounds like what a lot of black women go through when their men leave the house.
Yep, that's me all day.
So
That's real, yeah.
can you talk about, and when I heard that, I said, oh, like, and I've heard a lot from you. I was like, I hadn't quite heard this before.
Exactly.
So what was the moment that inspired this record, Pray For Me, featuring Rick Ross and Music Soul Child?
Right, because I went through a lot of ups and downs, you know what I'm saying? And I went through, because, my baby was number one in my life. I wasn't really caring about working and getting out there. I wanted to make sure she was good. I wanted to make sure she was healthy. I wanted to just be there every step of the way. I really didn't have nannies like that. I had to have them to make some moves, but I did everything myself. So, you know what I'm saying? There was ups and downs financially. There was ups and downs mentally. There was ups and downs in my relationships. And so, I wanted that song to be about life. You know what I'm saying? And for women, every time our men leave the house or something, like, I don't say things in a pushy or bossy way, but a lot of times when a girl say, where you going? A guy sometimes retreats into, why? I'm not going nowhere. Don't be defensive, because I'm not worried about a bitch taking you from me, nigga. I'm worried about the streets taking you from. I want to make sure you get home safe, because I don't know. Nowadays, police might take you from me. I don't know. So it was more so a thing of like, listen to us, guys. It ain't always a fight, and sometimes it's just pure love.
Right.
And I went through that. I was going through that in my relationship.
I'm sure. Yeah. Like, and I love that because it kind of felt me. When you're talking about where do you go at this point in your career, you can't do what you did yesterday.
Exactly.
This made me feel like I don't know if I quite heard this perspective in hip hop before from a woman, or I don't want to say that either, because I'm sure there's somebody who has it. So I don't want to take that away. But maybe I don't hear enough of it.
I don't think
now.
so.
You know what I'm saying?
I approach this differently.
Right.
I know this is different.
Right.
But yeah, women might have touched on it in their own
Right.
way. Eve touched on certain things
Right.
like that, but in a whole different way.
Yeah.
Different times, different timing, different, situations. I know this is different. Even the way the beat switches up is different.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I did it. It's like 2 songs in one, but you don't even see the other song coming.
Yeah.
But it slides in nicely.
It's a dope. That's my favorite record on the whole
One
album.
of mine's too.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's dope. I want to talk about another one. Found You. Mm-hmm. Which you performed at BT.
Yeah.
Samples Bubba Sparks and Yin Yang
Yeah.
Twins, Miss New Booty, and it features OT Genesis,
Yep, my
who
boy.
is great at that content.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And Young Miami from City Girls. Like, how did this one come together?
So this is the time of twerking and
Yeah.
shaking your booty. And for me, I like, if you know Lil Kim, I like doing remakes.
Yeah.
That's our thing, Puff Daddy's known for that.
Yeah.
That's all we did. We remake, but those
When it wasn't cool, when
it wasn't,
your Kant would get criticized heavy.
Yeah.
Well, how you gonna take that? Well, how you gonna?
Yes.
He didn't even change it. Da, da,
Yeah.
da. But now this is hip hop.
It's just hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
And Kanye kind of made that, good again too when he first came out, because he started taking them samples and
Listen, came back for you, but also Lil Kim and Kanye West
yes.
working very early on in his career.
there you go. And a
Come
lot
on.
of people didn't know that. I gave him his first Grammy nomination.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't know that, but so I, Found You. I was like, I want to do something that everybody's gonna know and remember, but gonna want to shake their butt as soon as they hear it. And it's a few songs, but there's only a few that was like, Back That Ass Up,
Right.
Juvenile, you know that. And then, but I didn't want to go that direction. I was like, Bubba Sparks, we gotta get that.
Right.
And then one of the A&Rs in my company, in a record label, he brought this record and said, Blanco, you gotta hear this. I said, let me play it. It was automatic. Nothing else to be said. And I always wanted to work with the City Girls because we kind of cool. So I was like, this is perfect. I hit up Miami. She was like, let's do it. I love her for that too, because it was
That's
no hesitation.
That's hard, and I love to see you working with them and them working with you. I was just like, of course, this makes all the sense in the world.
It makes all the sense in
but
the
that you
world.
talk about you actually kind of get along and y'all really kind of just fuck with each other. Because we had them up here at Genius, so we had Miami because JT was in her situation, and we had them break down the lyrics for "I'll Take Your Man."
Yeah.
And I know you know about Salt and Pepper.
Oh, hell
I know
yeah.
about Salt and Pepper. I remember them.
Yeah.
She said she was open. She was like, "Yo, I didn't really know the original song. Coach K
Right.
brought it to me."
Right.
But once they laid it out, I seen the vision and I loved it. And I
Right.
loved how receptive they were to
do
hip hop that came before them.
Yeah, me
You know
too.
what
I
I'm saying?
love that about
Yeah.
them. So that's what made me embrace them too as well. And I know JT, she always showed love, and Miami always showed love. So I was like, this is perfect. And then to me, the beat is such a, like, it has that West Coast feel and that hyphy feel. I was like, OT would kill this.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just 100% right. And I hit him up on DM, and he hit me right back. Did the record in like 48 hours, maybe 3 days.
Yeah.
Sent it back. Like, he was like, I love this record. And he killed it. He murdered it. So it was perfect.
Kim, you talking filthy on this record, Kim.
I'm talking yeah. I was talking about shit for real,
Right.
No cap.
Right.
For real.
Nah, that's dope. And, I think that's the content. Because you changed the game in a lot of ways and helped move hip hop forward by just expressing also your sexuality
Yeah.
in a way that was very much in your face.
Very much.
And credit to, I always give credit to Salt and Pepper too. Like, Let's Talk About Sex
Yeah.
was a big moment, but
Yeah.
it when Lil Kim came, it went another level. When you were doing that at the time, did you know that it would be empowering for women? Did you know, like, or were you just
Hell
talking
no.
your shit?
I was talking my shit. Hell no, I didn't know. And the thing is that, like, I would come up with these nasty lines, but even to myself, I'd be like, yo, that might be too much. And I would turn to Biggs and I'd be like, yo, you think we overdoing it? You think I'm like too? He like, no, hell no, spit that shit. What's wrong with you, girl? Get in there. He knew more than we did.
Right.
He knew that this was going to go and it was going to sell. I didn't know too much. I knew that it was going to be new and girls was going to love it. I kind of knew that, but I didn't know it was going to go, but he did. And that's why he was like, it got to be extra raw. And I think that the extra rawness is what the world was attracted to, because Salt and Pepper did it, but they were a little bit, so
You could still play it on the radio. It was like tongue in cheek. Like you didn't have to bleep it out. It was like, you know what I'm saying?
And some records I wish I had that you didn't have to do that.
You had to change whole verses sometimes. You had to lay like new tracks.
You have no idea, like a whole new record. So sometimes I do wish we had a couple of those little Salt and Pepper type records, but it was meant for me to do it this way because I have to be who I am. But I by default I ended up on records like Lady Marmalade and Ladies Night is my remix record, but these are records that were being played on the radio.
Yeah, but huge records.
Grammy.
But listen, even the dirty records, radio had to figure it out and find a way to play. Like radio, like you couldn't not play.
That's so true.
Big Mama thing.
It's so true.
Like we gonna have to figure out how we gonna play it, but we gonna play it.
Some radios, no lie, you could ask you know Lance. That's the one who we was actually signed to Atlantic Records through Undies, which is him and Jacob, and they would actually play Queen Bitch on the radio without bleeping the curses.
Right.
And the first time we ever heard it, we was like, nah, this is crazy. Are you serious? I was like, you hear this shit? And they would play that shit, yo. And it was just incredible to me because it's like, this is so wrong. Like Missy said, but so right.
Mm-hmm. What, You Are Not Alone off of this album.
That's another one.
You had a line on here, and I love it, and maybe, he's not here. And again, being from Brooklyn, just if you was a hip hop fan from anywhere, knowing what Big meant, and you, again, still talking your shit, I dismantle any competition to the coalition.
That's one of my favorite
And
bars.
when Big started, I'm about to finish.
You witness greatness every time I spit this. Like a judge, I'm cold with each sentence. And we all know judges is
Right.
cold with that
With the
sentencing.
sentence. That's a bar. That's a bar.
Yeah.
How much is Big? Because, you know, over 20 years since Big has left us, it sounds like a dumb question, but as you're creating, how much of Big is still with you?
I feel like every step, and sometimes I can feel when I may be going in a direction that may not be him, but I also feel like when I'm going in a direction, that song was all him.
Right.
I felt that. But I can also feel when I'm going in a direction that's not him, but I can feel when he's laying back, like, nah, I'm gonna let you do your thing. Like, this is a new era, new day. You still gotta be current, but you still gotta be classic.
Right.
So I had a hard job because I had to figure out the happy medium.
Right.
That is a very, very hard job.
Well, the truth is, hip hop has evolved. So there's certain records on this album that there's certain, like, I can hear like a classic Lil Kim, you know what I'm saying, like, and what you and Big built together, and then there's some where it just feels totally, you know what I'm saying, like, and throughout your career you've been that, like, that you've kept the core, but you've also branched out and done other things. Nobody would know this, but maybe you could give us the best guess. If Big was still here, do you think he would still be rapping?
Ooh, let me guess. I think he would, but maybe not as much because he would be producing a lot of artists.
Right.
And he would be so big that I'm pretty sure he would have so much. He would be a super mogul. So he wouldn't probably have a lot of time.
Right.
Because I feel like before he passed, he wasn't super focused to be a great mogul at the time. But I feel like he would have made so many mistakes and he would have fixed them and correct them that by now he would have been a super mogul because he's very intelligent. But he just moved so fast, almost like he knew he wasn't going to be here.
Right.
He had to get it. He had to do it. It had to happen now. And that's somebody who's living like every day could be their last. And so I feel he would have learned a lot along the way quickly, definitely faster than I learned, for sure.
Can I ask you, and I want to get back to you, but again, like, obviously him being a mentor in the studio, and you know, you've always had this thing. You've always been very open that there was some things he would write or help you with, and then there was things that you did on your own, like the Benjamins. He wasn't even in the studio.
He wasn't at all, or No Time,
or No Time.
or My First Crush on You. He wasn't even around.
I remember, I think it was Stretch Armstrong on the mixtape. There was a version of Queen Bitch with the big vocals.
Yeah.
And it sounded dope, and it sounded funny at the same time, because here Big is talking about playing with his coochie and stuff like that. How much of that, how many, like, do many of those exist? Like, are there any other kind of demo vocals?
Me, you would have heard it by now. But see, the thing is, even with those things, I always gave my input.
Right.
And I'll give my input, and he'll even say them in that reference. You know what I mean? So I'll give my input and say what I wanted to be, said, and then because that's the whole thing. You know what I mean? It's like he did not even want to be a part of my writing because he knew I was so dope. He used to always be like, I used to ask him like certain stuff. I'd be like, can you help me with this? And he'd be like, hell no, you got this one. I know you do. And he'd be like, I ain't helping you. And I just had to figure it out. And then, he'd be like, you're a beast. You don't need my help. And some stuff, I would just want his presence there, you know? But he was determined to make me, like I said, I mean, go ask Swiss Beats, go ask D-Dot, go ask all these people who sat in the studio with me without Big. My verse for No One Else, like Puff sat there. Like, so, everybody knows I'm a beast.
That was a classic. No One Else. Yeah. And then, I remember hearing a story about Players Anthem, even that Clark was like, yo, Kim, go in the booth because the rest of the fellas couldn't get they verse. They was maybe took a little long to write their verse.
Exactly. I was a beast. I was in it. I wanted it. This is what I did. And I love writing. That was my thing. I love writing. I wasn't supposed to be on Players Anthem.
Right.
But
imagine that. Like, I think you got to understand what that meant for us to see Junior Mafia, you know, seeing y'all on MTV, on BET, and feeling like, yo, they shop at Fulton Mall just like us.
Yeah.
They rode at the A train just like us.
Yep.
Wow, they made it.
Yeah.
I think that's why it was so important. I know the other night, seeing you on stage with Junior Mafia,
Yeah.
seeing you on stage with C's, kind of gave me like old Source Award
Yeah.
vibes, old Soul Train Award vibes
Yeah,
when y'all
it
was
did.
really rocking. How did that come together? Because it's been a long time coming.
Well, I decided 2019
Yeah.
that number 9. It was just timing, and you know, C's had apologized numerous times, and he figured out what he did was wrong, and you know, sometimes in your family you gotta kind of like you gotta just put it to the side, and I felt like it was a way of mending Big's broken heart, because you know he was just you could just feel Big broken. And again, like I said, that number 9 is a spiritual awaken. It's a spiritual awakening number. And I would hear Big so much this year, like just a lot. And from the end of the year to the beginning of the year, I would hear him a lot. And he would guide me in a way where I would know it's him. And so I felt like, okay, it's time. But it's not supposed to be through nobody else but me.
Right.
That's why this is happening now, because it was supposed to happen through me. And I decided I was going to do this dinner, and I threw this big dinner, and we just were all so happy that we were doing this dinner on Biggie's birthday, you know? And so it was the most successful dinner probably of all dinners in the industry world, because it's always talked about. People always come up to us about that dinner. I was on Good Morning America the other day, and Michael Strahan was talking about, yo, that dinner looked amazing. That was awesome.
Yeah.
So everyone it's a memorable dinner. And so, you know, we decided that it was time for us to, you know, really, really, and everybody's so humble. Everybody, all of us, like we get it. Everybody gets it. And I think the boys get what I was trying to do then.
Right.
And sometimes that happens, and everybody got to find their way.
You know, it's dope. It was a really dope moment, and you know, it falls in line. Like if you really paying attention as a Lil Kim fan, of I think the vision that Big had for the Mafia, but had for you. If you listen to the Bella Mafia, I mean, there's a famous interview that you sample at the beginning of the intro, where Big is talking about, yo, I can open the door for you, but then you got to go get it.
Yeah.
I rock with Kim because she's hungry. Like I always felt like,
and that'll tell everybody how I used to just write my ass off. Like even Get Money. So Get Money was me and Clark Kent too. I mean, what's the guy's name? Starts with an E. He was a part of producing that record too. But once I showed up on Players Anthem, which Clark Kent was such a big part of, Clark was like my biggest fan. So he made sure when each new record hit the table, he made sure that I was right there writing. And I started writing to that, and Big was blown away of how I matched him so well. And so I ended up being on that record too. So I ended up being in the forefront from this girl that was just supposed to be a part of the group of the guys, making them look good. And now I'm on every record that's supposed to be, you know, Mafia records. So,
and a leader.
yeah.
A leader.
And Big was like, my honey hungry. She hungry. My honey hungry. And I used to always think like, even when he would get beats that he was working on for himself or for somebody else, and if I was in a room while he was writing to them, because we was always, that's the one thing about us. If Big had something to do with somebody, we would all be there just with him, supporting him, even if we weren't working. If I had something, everybody was there supporting me, even if I wasn't working. And I would hear him write, like a beat be playing, I'd be secretly writing myself, like...
So you probably got verses to like Hypnotize
I
that you just wrote.
verses to Hypnotize. I had verses to the Shaquille O'Neal record.
Oh, that was such a classic record. You can't stand the rain. Yeah.
You have no idea. Like I was just in it, like because he was just so fire. And it was awesome watching him work. You know what I mean? So I love when he took me places when he was, working with other people. And so that was my thing, you know. Even it was my idea to do the dreams over.
Right.
And he did the girl version, I did the
Right.
guy version. That was my idea.
Yeah, I kicked up a whole lot. He did with his version,
Yeah.
and you with yours. Let's talk about these concept records because there's one thing we talked about: the raunchiness, the furthering, the almost kind of the feminist wave of you just being free as a woman and showing other women that they could be free as well, and they don't have to hold back. But there was concepts that I think you don't get enough credit for, like Aunt Dot.
Which Biggie wasn't around.
Yeah, no, big, unfortunately had passed.
Yeah.
Aunt Dot is a record it's kind of a metaphor for your period, your menstrual cycle, your time of the month.
Yeah.
What the hell was going? How'd you come up with that one?
Because Gimme the Loop was one of my favorite records. I love the different voices and the different thing. And I was like, I could do that. I gotta do this. I gotta do it for the girls. Because, I was a little girl gangster. A pretty gangster. And so that's my whole marquee, like pretty gangster.
Right.
And so I wanted something for the girls so that we have something for these hating assholes. That's how I felt. Like, we need something for these hating assholes because all these girls get their period and he be acting real stink. And every time they on their period, they want to hate. They want to be arguing. They want to be, And that's how we feel, for real. Like, it's like, so I felt like every girl would relate to that.
Right.
Because what girl don't?
It was just a dope. Again, and I love, again, hip hop has been around for 40 years, and I think the true mark of an MC is giving us something that we hadn't heard before.
Right.
So we hadn't heard that before. Even when you do things like spell check.
Right.
It's
one of my favorite records.
It's a dope concept.
And I feel like that record, I'm glad you mentioned that because, you just woke me up.
You were sleeping the whole time?
No,
we 37 minutes in. Kim said this interview was boring, but now we get into the shit. Let's go.
You just woke me up again because I love that record. And I feel like it gets so slept on.
Right.
I mean, that shit is such a genius, clever record. And I strive on cleverness.
Right.
That's me, and clever, like, I'm on a BQE, 10 the clutch down. I'm coming from BQ, just 10 the clutch down on the BQE. Like, those things, like, the whole song was me spelling shit out.
Right. Yeah, if y'all haven't heard, if y'all kind of new to this Lil Kim thing, it's cool. It's all here for you. You're going to go stream 9. And then after that, just take a trip back.
Yes.
Listen to Spell Check. It's definitely like concept. And I think that's... And again, because we talk about your legacy, and that's the part, the creativity, the drugs records, things of that nature that we don't talk about enough. And I think that's what makes you great.
Thanks.
And people feel it, and then sometimes I just don't know if people vocalize it as much, but it's definitely present.
Or if they know about it sometimes, because those records were never put in the forefront like every other record. But to me, Spell Check, that's just such a classic.
On that, I want to clear something up. I had did some research and I found the answer because it's funny how you mentioned how that was influenced by Gimme the Loot because it also featured Lil Shanice.
Yeah.
And a lot of people thought that was you pitching your voice a different way, like how Big pitched his voice a different way. I remember when Gimme the Loot first came out, we used to have arguments because people thought that was C's. And it was like, no, that's Big's voice. He's just... Lil Shanice, a real person.
Okay, so let me break it down. So I changed my voice up a few times because I wanted it to be like Give Me a Loop. But what I wanted to do different was put a little girl, because we had Little Bow Wow at the time.
Right.
And so I wanted to put a little girl that could be a part of this.
It's the little one, and I'm not Bow Wow.
Bow Wow.
It's just when you say it, just made me throw it.
Exactly. So
Sorry.
No, it's all good because that's one of my favorite verses too. But
ain't that Brandy, brother?
Yeah.
Oh, that shit was so classic.
It was so classic.
We're going to go back to that. Finish your story. We're going to go back to that.
Okay. So, even when I'm like playing my aunt on the record, I switch my voice up. So people even question, who's that too? But what happened was the first 8 bars is Little Shanice. But she was so young at the time, she fell asleep in the booth. And so I had to finish the record. So everyone's partially right. I did cue my voice up and give it the little, the munching thing, and I finished the record.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. Yeah, I know that's something that the internet, I know the Beehive in particular, if you're a real
Yeah.
Lil Kim fan, that people kind of
Yeah,
go back
they
and
go
forth
back and
on.
forth. But the real like fans who know, like they know. Yeah, I told that story before, but she fell asleep in the booth,
That's
and
so
because
funny.
we like Chinese, and we just hear. Yeah, she's a little girl.
Right.
She's like 6, 7,
Right.
something like that. So, or maybe 8. Maybe 8. She probably was 8.
I want to go back to that because we would talk about the Ray J. Wait a minute, which was
Yeah.
one of my favorite joints. Kim, you got a way when you kind of collaborating with people, like you say funny things, you say what everybody is thinking,
Yeah.
and it could be taken as disrespect.
Yeah.
Like so, when you on a Ray J record and you go, "Ain't that Brandy, brother?" Like did Ray J feel away? He was like, "Hold on, what?"
You know, it's so funny you say that because he did at first.
Because I'd have felt the way.
But I swear I didn't mean no. I didn't mean no. Like I didn't mean to hurt his feelings.
Oh, he probably loves it now after
Oh,
as
he
much as that
loves
single
it now.
sell. Yeah,
As a
that's
matter
it.
of fact, he can't wait till that part come.
Right.
Like when we perform it. But I never like I was never ever trying to diss him. Plus, he had a crush on me at that time.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then we started running around together. So it wasn't nothing, no disrespect to him. But I was really saying it like, Dad, wait a minute. Is that Brandy's brother she's with? Like,
Right.
and so it just went the other way. But at first he was like, at first I was like, Kim, why you diss me, Kim? But I was like, no. But he loves it now,
Of course.
It was just supposed to be a little jokey joke, but it wasn't like a diss.
I think that's one of your superpowers is that you say things on records that everybody was thinking or everybody wish they can say, but don't have the guts to say it. Like
Right.
I always thought too, like on another, like when I sucked your dick, it was like smoking a roach. Like how
I
you
go
say
first
that
class
to
coach.
how you say that to somebody? Like
I was, you know what? Big would say stuff like that.
Right.
So I wanted to kind of give him a taste of his own medicine.
Right.
I wrote that rhyme too when he wasn't around for that either. And we actually had a fight in the Mirage. And that whole story is really actually true. And I thought he was gonna be mad that I was like putting our business out in the street.
Right.
But he loved that shit.
I guess he understood.
He did.
Because it felt like we was in the middle of it with y'all. Like,
Yeah.
Like the record felt fun, and then when that, as a guy, and then when that line comes, it's like, damn, she went there. Damn.
Well, that's not
Right.
about my baby.
No,
That's
right,
not about my
right.
baby. But that whole rap, was like about stuff we was going through. But
That's another thing when I talk about your superpowers, the concepts. It is saying the things that we all wish we could say, even on Big Mama thing. This is the J verse, but it feels like we in the studio with you every time. How big and untrust you in the studio with me?
don't you know? I'm trying to say. Oh my God, it was so funny. Everybody even been like, did he just say? Did he? Okay, but they had such a friendly relationship. They had such a friendly competition relationship that they could joke about stuff like that and play fight about it. You know what I mean? It was funny because he even was like, "Oh, I know being them gonna kill me or want to kill me for this one."
That's dope. Like I could sit here all day with you.
Yeah.
Because again, when we talk about the catalog of Lil Kim, there's so many just different areas that you
Yeah.
can go in. It's not one thing
No.
that makes you who you are.
What about the Isley brothers?
Mr. Biggs.
I love that.
No, you
song.
got it. That was on
Yes,
Float
he
On.
did. Yes.
Yeah.
That song was so
You can go.
dope.
It's your work. Go ahead. What you
No.
want to tell us about the Isleys? What's
No, it's just like I'll tell you this. Like when we was there, it was funny because Angela Winbush was sitting on the piano and Ronald Isley was like next to her singing to her. And he said, "Yeah, that's gonna be me and you in 50 years, in 30 years, whatever." It was so funny because
Right.
it's like he's big and she was
Right,
little,
right,
and he
right.
made that joke, and I was just dying.
Mr. Biggs? You know
He
you
got
got to
the-
keep me James. Yeah, that was
Yes.
classic.
It was
Kim.
classic. It was a great record. And so, I have like, it's a lot of records that I would, like I used to do a lot of songs for all the DJs. And
Right.
a few of my favorites is songs that I used to do with them. Like DJ Clue, I did a song called Hiroshima with him. And I love that rap. It's like, even like K Slay, I do a lot. Funk Flex. You know, I did a lot of raps. So a lot of those raps were like my favorite raps.
That's crazy. Well, that was going to be a question. Like as we start to wind down, what's your favorite Lil Kim verse?
That's hard. I'm not even gonna lie. Um, I ain't gonna lie. I don't have a favorite Little Kim verse because all of them is so deep and special to me. But it's one song that I feel it kind of got slept on, which is a song I did on a song called The Beehive. And I'm like, Miss White, that bitch with 1,000 looks come through with 1,000 crooks. I just know what it takes to get this money like blow. Catch a body, get a facelift, and disappear like Pablo. And then that song has so many metaphors in it. Like the homicide is looking for me for killing this beat. All of those little different things I used to say, like, it's that bitch. My pussy get wetted in a shower cap. Got my man's back like a JanSport knapsack. These is old lyrics
Yeah.
that now I'm dusting people off
Right,
with,
right. But nobody's putting that level of. I mean, I say nobody. Few are putting because we still have the Kendrick Lamars out here, the Coles. Rhapsody killed it at BET when she did the verse and she shouted all of y'all out in the crowd. That was
so
hard.
dope.
Yeah,
So dope. Like you gotta appreciate that. So
I love your Quiet Storm verse. I know that's the crowd favorite.
that's one of my favorites too.
I love Play Around. I think Play Around is so
really?
hard. Yeah.
That's so crazy.
When I come through, put change in your cups like the bums do. Come on, B.
I fuck all you hoes. I blows like flutes. Bitches don't shake my hand. They salute.
Yeah, that was hard. Like, you got a lot, Kim, and this is why this is so important. This moment, obviously, you said everything is about time, and then we talking about 9. But part of this is just I wanted to get you to Genius and talk about raps because I feel like when you do a lot of interviews because you're a big celebrity, and there's all these facets of your life that everybody is interested in. A lot of your interviews, I feel like that takes up the most time, and the music fans don't ever get to hear you talk about the music as much as we like. So I said, when she come to Genius, we're gonna talk about some of these music and this classic, catalog that you have. You know what I mean?
It's a blessing. Like, and there's a lot of my favorite records aren't really on some of my albums. My favorite verses. Like I tell you, I did a song with Clue called Hiroshima. And that song I forgot how it started, I'm not gonna lie, but when I think about how I just was in it, like like I forget like what I said something about like busting your melon, and nobody would start telling when the body starts smelling, because somebody took the story and sold it to Helen Kellen. You know what I'm saying? So now we'll never know what happened because
you can't see it. That's hard.
It's like,
that's hard.
It's like those type of things, and like, you know what I'm saying, I guess my bark on like I'm DMX or something. My reach is like Lewis, and the thing is like I really was in those raps, and they came easy to me.
Right. And I love that, and again, like we talked about Rhapsody and the different thing that she brings and what Young Miami brings. I gotta ask you, Jermaine Dupri, because you know him well, you work with him, y'all have a dope relationship, at least as far as I could see. When he kind of made his comment about him, he said he wanted to see more from women in hip hop today and not just the stripper stories. Do you think that was a fair assessment? Like, do you or what do you see? A better question is, taking what he said, what do you see the landscape of with women in hip hop right now? Do you see it as he sees it, or do you see?
I think that even just music today is fun, and I wish I got a chance to make a lot more fun records, because I was on I'm moving anything out my way that's trying to stop me. We came from a gangster fly. Like, we were fly gangsters, you know what I'm saying? So we had to talk that fly shit, and we had to talk that gangster shit. But we did, our music was just fun because that's what it was at the time. So everybody was just having fun. But at the end of the day, music now is so fun, and you don't, sometimes you don't want to have to think too hard. You want to just vibe, and I like vibe songs. You know what I mean? And so I like what's going on, and I don't think that Jermaine Dupri meant no harm. if I had to think about it, I don't think he meant no harm. I think he basically was saying, I love y'all sexy women talking, that stripper sexy money talk, but I want to also hear some of the women spitting, hardcore rap. I think he just said it wrong, maybe.
Right.
You know?
And to be fair to Jermaine, he's given us. You could look at something and be like, me personally, I don't agree with him, right? So I could look at it and say,
Right.
I don't agree with you. But Jermaine has given way more to hip hop and the culture than he's ever taken away, and you can't erase that. So like I don't, they'll be like, oh, Jermaine Dupri is canceled. I don't know it's that. I just like,
I don't know.
Me personally, I didn't agree with him, and I'm not putting words in your mouth.
Well, you know what? I don't really remember how he said it
Right.
because I didn't pay no attention
Fair.
to it. I kind of saw like clips of him saying it. But in my mind, I'm just like, I love what's going on today. So I don't know what I don't agree with. I don't agree with people who are from like before the era of even me or like the era where when we came out, whatever. Dissing the music now, I hate it. I don't also agree with the people in the genre now, like the artists that's out now, disrespecting what is actually the reason why they got here. I hate that. I hate it. I don't like it. Y'all need to come to a happy medium because you disrespectful and you disrespectful. Period.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, the person who knows how to do both is the real freaking mega superstar.
Right.
And the person who appreciates both is the mega superstar. Not the one that's like, I don't give a fuck about that type of music.
Right.
What? If an old school person or a person back in the days or a person from my generation, my era, because it's still the same generation. If somebody says that, I don't like it because that just means you too old.
It's very dismissive
Yeah.
of because the culture has to evolve.
It's dismissive of someone's art.
Yeah.
And then y'all now, how fucking dare you? It's blasphemy.
Right.
Are you kidding me? These people are the reason why you're here. And
Right.
these people, they got Grammys. So you better, you know what I'm saying? You trying to get one. That's how I feel about it. So for me, I just wish that everybody could appreciate people's art and music, period. I don't give a fuck what era you're from. I don't give a fuck what kind of music it is. Appreciate it because that one song could change somebody's life.
Right. Nah, that's beautifully said, and what we appreciate is this moment. I appreciate you coming to Genius.
Thanks.
I appreciate you talking to me and being open and honest and sharing these stories with us.
Yeah, I'm really happy to be here, and we in Brooklyn.
Of course.
This is comfortably.
Of course.
This is comfortably.
Well, you welcome back anytime.
Thanks.
You know, 9 just came out, but I know we're gonna get videos.
Yeah.
I know it's gonna be
hell
more
yeah.
music. So we not going nowhere.
That's what's
Lil
up.
Kim ain't going nowhere, so you welcome anytime. Just say the word.
I love it.
All right?
Thank you.
Nah, thank you
Thanks
for coming.
for having me.
Yep. And thank y'all for watching. You know me, I'm in the comments every week. Let's talk about this new 9 record. What are some of your favorite lyrics, some of your favorite songs? I'm going to talk
Yes.
right back to y'all. And then, classic Lil Kim shit too, man. Let's get into it. Thank y'all for watching. See y'all next week.
Yeah, the vibes. Brooklyn.